Hello everyone. Well, the big snow day and the big cold front day has finally arrived in the region. So let's break down all the details in your winter storm update sponsored by NIPSCO. Good news early this morning, 8 a.m. for the morning commute, completely dry, but not for much longer. And not much wind, only around 10 miles per hour. Temperatures not too bad, upper 20s, low 30s. But this is as nice as the weather is going to be all day. By the late morning, the snow will have begun. We're going in 3-hour increments here. Here's 11 a.m. And certainly talking about isolated snow shower activity in the region at this point, just some light to moderate snow, but it will be beginning. And notice temperatures maybe warming a little bit, but not for much longer. Now let's take a look at 2 o'clock. And notice how temperatures starting in the northwestern part of the area coming down, especially over in Illinois though. Look at those temperatures now dropping into the teens. But at 2 o'clock in the region, still, though the snow will definitely be filling in and it's looking quite snowy for the afternoon hours and through the early evening. At this point, the potential for pockets of heavy snow developing. At this point, though, still not much wind. Winds are still only going to be around 10 miles per hour. Now, by the time we get to the late afternoon, we're definitely still going to be dealing with snow. This is homebound commute time, 5 o'clock. Lots of moderate snow, pockets of heavy snow, and it's going to start to get breezy. And look how temperatures coming down. So definitely looking like a slow homebound commute with reduced visibility, snow flying around, and those winds starting to pick up, temperatures coming down. Now let's look at 8 o'clock, and we're still in the snow. Still lots of moderate snow, pockets of heavy snow. And now look at our temperatures. So initially this is going to be a pretty wet snow, but now we're talking about real light, fluffy snow just piling up at this point, because look at our temperatures in the single digits. And at this point, at 8 o'clock, it's going to be windy. Gusts around 30 miles per hour, so we are absolutely talking about a wind chill factor. Now we're looking at 11 o'clock, and by the time we get to the late evening hours, we're going to be past the peak of the activity. By 11 o'clock, I don't expect any more heavy snow to be around, but still quite a bit of light to moderate snow shower activity, especially in the eastern part of the region. We're going to see less and less as we go through the overnight hours, but I still think we're going to see some light to moderate snow in northern LaPorte County by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And I will say there's probably going to be some flurry activity in spots. There'll be kind of spotty flurries for the rest of the region. The legitimate light to moderate snow is going to be limited to far northern LaPorte County, but there could be still be some flurry activity 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. But the biggest story 7 a.m. tomorrow morning is going to be how cold it's going to be, because these are our actual temperatures 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. -1 in Michigan City, but for the rest of us in the region, around -6, -7. But wind gusts, the winds continuing to increase. 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, winds are going to be gusting around 40 miles per hour. So look what it's going to be feeling like 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. In northern LaPorte County, around -25, but for most in the region, the feels like temperatures are going to be between -30 and -35. Just absolutely brutal. Hopefully you don't have to venture out in it, but if you do, absolutely layer up, hats and gloves. Take this seriously, because this is potentially dangerous cold if you're not prepared for it. When you're talking about wind chills, -30, -35, we're talking about frostbite occurring in just 20 minutes with wind chills this cold. But we're not done talking about the cold, because look at high temperatures Friday afternoon. These are our high temperatures for Friday afternoon. Some may not get above 0. At the warmest, again, Michigan City kind of the outlier, around 5 degrees, but Hammond, Kentland, 1, Valparaiso, Rensselaer, -1. And it's not going to be feeling this warm at all, because the winds are going to keep increasing. And the worst wind is going to be Friday afternoon. And I do think there's going to be a brief period in the region where winds are going to be gusting around 55 miles per hour. And that is certainly strong enough winds to bring down some tree branches and cause some power outages. Not a widespread power outage situation, but power outages in spots, yes, with a gust around 55 miles per hour. And also, this is your last warning. Christmas decorations, make sure they are secure, or if you know there's some that aren't going to make it, just bring them inside, because they will absolutely be moved around with this kind of wind. Friday afternoon will be the worst of it, gusts around 55 miles per hour. And so what is it going to be feeling like Friday afternoon? Notice a little bit better than early Friday morning, but not good. This is as warm as it's going to be feeling. We're talking about feels like temperatures -20 to -25 Friday afternoon. And now let's talk about when is all the snow finally going to come to an end, because what I think we're going to be dealing with is a prolonged period with off and on flurries for most of us, except the classic lake effect area, northeast Porter County, northern LaPorte County. It is just going to keep on snowing, and people are going to be getting sick of it there. I think we'll all just be sick of seeing lots of clouds and flurry activity. This is 11 a.m. Friday, 3 o'clock Friday. Notice, again, those dark shades of blue indicating where there's a legitimate snow coming down. Everywhere else, basically, we're just in a zone of flurries in the region where you might see a few flakes of snow and then it'll stop, and a few flakes of snow and then it'll stop, but really not adding up anything as far as accumulation goes at this point. But it'll still be flying around. And keep in mind, there's going to be blowing snow as well. With all the snow on the ground, it may not actually be snowing in some parts of the region, but it may seem like it with all the blowing snow that's going to be around throughout the day on Friday with those strong winds. So we're going to see limited visibility even if no flurries are actually falling from the sky. There's just going to be so much snow being blown around that visibilities are going to be reduced. There's Friday evening, and guess what? It's going to continue through Friday night as well. And by this point, 11 o'clock Friday, we're going to be past the worst wind after the Friday afternoon peak with gusts around 55 miles per hour, but still very windy. Even 11 o'clock Friday night, gusts are going to be around 40 miles per hour. And now we're Saturday morning. Guess what? The snow is still coming down. I think at this point, probably just in northern LaPorte County, and still probably dealing with some flurries, particularly across Porter County. That'll be the most likely place for lingering flurries as we get into Saturday. Late morning, yeah, it's still there. Finally, I think the legitimate accumulating snow, lake effect snow, is going to come to an end in northern LaPorte County about 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And look how it is still going to be real windy this whole time. Even Saturday afternoon, gusts are still going to be around 40 miles per hour. Finally, Saturday night, we're going to start to see those winds decrease. High temperatures Saturday afternoon. The average high in the region is going to be 9 degrees, but with those gusts around 40 miles per hour, it's going to be feeling like -10. So it feels like temperatures still below zero. So of course, the big question, finally, I've talked about a lot, but how much snow? Well, for Lake County, Newton County, it looks like 4.5 inches. For most of Jasper County and Porter County, 5.5 inches. But you see that dark shade of blue in the northeastern part of Porter County. That dark shade of blue indicates 6 to 9 inches. And then in northern LaPorte County, that shade of purple, 9 to 12 inches. And it looks like the big winner or big loser, depending on how you want to look at it, will be Michigan City, where up to 12.5 inches of snow is possible when it's all said and done Saturday afternoon.